Hey folks, this is Todd with Black Spaces. Thanks for joining me for this critique or review or reaction to House of the Dragon, Season 2, Episode 2. Let me give you some spoiler alerts. I'm not going to spoil it much because I'm not going to do a recap. I'm just going to do an immediate reaction of this fantastic show. But before I do that, I want to ask you to like and subscribe this episode and this channel for more unique critiques. So I think George Martin and his fellow showrunner have done something fabulous with this whole series, with the whole way in which this is the prequel, of course, to the Game of Thrones saga, epic. But the second episode, we're suspecting from the first episode that there's a whole drumbeat of war, the war between Rhaenyra and her claim to the throne against Aegon, the weak king, who she considered the usurper, that there's going to be a civil war for the throne of the Seven Kingdoms. And so, but what happened from episode 1 with the murder of the crown prince, the sweet little boy, and they said they were going to dial back stuff in this series because fans complained about the bloodshed. But anyway, with the murder of that little boy in his crib, set in place by Daemon, but Daemon claims that, of course, that he wasn't seeking for that to happen. He was only trying to kill yet another individual and part of this sort of cutthroat drama. So all of that's going on, and we were thinking, and I was thinking that, hey, war is at the doorsteps. But true to a good saga, what they didn't do is say, hey, war immediately. No, let's get into let's have intrigue. Let's have more murder. Let's have a sort of a cutthroat politics, a fear of what's to occur, an intrigue as to what's to occur. And there's some interesting things that I think they kind of did with this episode. First of all, Otto Hightower, in my view, the hand of the king, has never been a particularly sympathetic, always been a conniving individual, a manipulative individual who in order to maintain the Hightower power within the kingdom, has always manipulated and turned things toward his ends. Well, Otto Hightower it's interesting that in one episode, in my view, they've made him a more sympathetic individual relative to, of course, him trying to pull Aegon back, trying to not have him do such rash things. And as a result, spoiler alert, Aegon dismisses him and makes Sir Criston, the guy who's fooling around with Queen Alicent Hightower, or Alicent Hightower, made Sir Criston the hand of the king. What the hell does Sir Criston know about running a kingdom? He's the commander of the king's guard. So what does he know? So that's going to be real interesting. And of course, we think Otto doesn't suspect this thing between Alicent and Sir Criston, but I think he does. There's nothing that man doesn't know or wouldn't know that's going on behind the walls of the Red Keep. So even when Alicent was trying to confess her sins to her father of this relationship with Criston, he says, don't want to know. So to me, it's kind of intriguing that, again, Hightower on one side has become this maybe more sympathetic, let me not go overboard, but more sympathetic individual in the sense that he's trying to steer what he sees as the interest of the realm. And he claims there's two other things that I thought were interesting. Whereas in episode 1, Hightower was trying to get King Edmund to not give the kingdom away, in his view, to the people who are suffering under this lead up to war. The blockade from the Sea Dragon has created a real sense of scarcity in the kingdom. And so Otto was trying to say to Aegon, hey, don't give it all away. Don't make promises that you can't keep, Your Highness. And he was openly going before the throne and sort of, pulling the king's robes, if you will, to say, you've got to show strength and not simply give in to the people. But of course, with the death of the murder, of the crown prince, then Otto Hightower is the one who says to Aegon, we must have a public funeral to pull in the sympathies of the people. Well, Aegon screwed that up royally because he, in effect, hung the catchers, who, one of the rat catchers, of course, was one of the individuals who, was a part of the whole plot that killed the crown prince. But by killing all of the rat catchers, including most of these innocent men, and hanging them on the wall, then the people would then turn against the king more by saying, why do you kill innocent men? We were with you by seeing your sweet, child and the funeral procession of your sweet child. Now we're turning against you. So that's some interesting intrigue. Of course, there's the interesting intrigue of Daemon and the ongoing fight between Daemon and Prince Rhaenyra on the other side of this pending civil war, and the ways in which Daemon is now, I don't know if he's flying off the handle, but he's flying on a dragon. And the fact that Sir Criston, by the King Aegon's permission, has now gone and sent Sir Eric, the twin brother of a Kingsguard member who they consider disloyal because he's now gone to the other side. His twin brother of Sir Eric, went to the other side. So he says, well, Sir Eric, we want you to masquerade as your brother and go kill Queen Rhaenyra. Well, of course that's not going to work out. We all knew that he was not going to succeed in that plot. And he knew he wasn't going to succeed in that plot because he said to Sir Criston, what, me by myself? Send just me? So that whole intrigue is quite, interesting. And of course, he was not going to quite get away with it because he was spotted on the way. I'm forgetting the name of the lady who the Queen Rhaenyra permitted to be free from her service as a result of, the pain that she's endured in her life and endured in her life relative to the betrayal of Daemon not marrying her. So all of that's sort of going on in an interesting way. To me, this drama is really about the ways in which, and we have to kind of think about whether or not it's done in a way that's progressive. I know, I know that using these words in this time, it signals certain political sympathies, but or political views. But I am progressive. But anyway, I think that this drama is an interesting one in that it talks about, and I have a previous video that I'll give a link to. It talks about the way in which women are both sort of principal actors in these power plays of civilization, but how often in misogynist patriarchal societies, even women, even when they are rulers, are used, are fooled, are hurt, are used as ploys by men. And so, to me, the jury is out whether the House of Dragon overcomes that particular trope and provides a more interesting set of tropes about the portrayal of women in seats of power. But, again, there's more to come in this drama. So anyway, those are several kind of interesting plot points. You can tell me what you think. Post it in your comments below. Remember to like and subscribe for more unique critique. And thank you much for listening. And I'll be chiming in throughout this series with a few views here and there. All right. Thank you now. Bye-bye.